We're glad to have Drew Brees for our 8th straight season here on CST, preseason, regular season. Good to have you on board again.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be back.
Let's talk about this week for you. I know you didn't practice, but Jimmy Graham says even though you didn't practice, your voice was heard out there, maybe correcting his routes, or you're in the ear of some of your guys on offense anyway.
You know what's interesting? I mean, obviously, I don't like being out. I don't like missing reps. Don't like being injured. That's not in my personality. So I'm just kind of off to the side, chomping at the bit. But it has allowed me to kind of, I don't know, sit back and see things from maybe a 10,000 foot view. So you notice things that obviously when you're in there actually getting a rep throwing to a location, you're kind of keyed in on that one spot, whereas now I can see what's happening on the other side of the field, maybe watch a guy's route even when he doesn't get the ball, and then be able to communicate that. So I don't know, I guess I'm Coach Brees here for a little bit, but it allows me to see some things that maybe I otherwise might not see, so I'm really trying to see the positive in all this.
I know you're a guy who's a competitor and you like to practice and you're always out there, but you probably have a regime with Scotty and some of the trainers, but is it hard sometimes to occupy yourself because you're used to being so active?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely stay occupied. Guys that are hurt, you spend more time in the training room, more time with maintenance on your body and everything else than you would if you were playing. So I find that, I mean, there really wasn't any free time anyway, but I'm dipping into time I didn't have. So just finding a way to get back as quick as I can.
All right, you called yourself Coach Brees. Let's talk about the quarterbacks. Ryan Griffin, I mean, you look at his stats tonight, 16 of 23, led some good drives. He's making the most of these reps.
Yeah, he is. It basically just carried over what he's been doing in practice. Playing with a ton of confidence. I think he's really starting to feel comfortable with this offense and with the nuances and kind of the little details that, as a first-year player, you just it just takes time. And he had this offense for 1 year in college, which obviously helped. Last year, really didn't get a whole lot of reps because Luke was the backup. And now having another off season under his belt, now a training camp and his first preseason game, he just continues to get better and better. So and he works extremely hard at it.
From him to McCown to Kilgore, I talked to him this week. You guys are all competitors in a lot of ways, but you also help each other out. I mean, it's definitely a give and take.
There's no doubt. I mean, listen, we're all fighting for jobs. I mean, even myself, I view those guys as trying to take my job, every day. And so, I've got to find a way to continue to push myself, challenge myself, get better and better, and we push each other and we also help each other. I mean, at the end of the day, competition, I think, brings out the best in everybody. It certainly brings out the best in us. Doesn't mean we can't have fun along the way doing it. I mean, we've got our QB competitions within the framework of practice and after practice, and we got all kinds of stuff back and forth. But that's what makes it fun. That's what challenges you. It's what brings out the best in you.
Those challenges are kind of getting a life of their own right now. I mean, they're all over the place. Does that keep things loose and breaks the monotony of training camp too?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something you look forward to as well. At the end of practice, what are we going to be able to dream up this time? And again, there's always a winner and a loser, and we keep track. I mean, you go in our quarterback room, everybody's got notches when you win the QB comp, or then we have this whole other thing that's a QB challenge that is stuff non-football related. So just, I mean, we'll be in the weight room and it's like, okay, who can whatever roll this tennis ball closest to the pad without touching. I mean, we got who can row, the fastest, who can do this the best. I mean, it's always something, and so we've got 2 different boards, QB Comp and QB Challenge.
All right, through the power of social media, I saw the prank you pulled on Sean Payton and his golf cart exhibition the other day. Are there going to be more pranks in the future because we've seen the Chevron, Rogaine? I mean,
right.
It's a little back and forth, isn't it?
Listen, we find ways to have fun throughout camp. Most of it is, like I got him with the Chevron thing back in during minicamp. He got me with the Rogaine thing a few days back. Then he had his little golf cart incident, so we had to basically reenact that for a practice because he had told the team about it, so everybody was aware. So I don't know. Like, I'm not sitting back waiting for him to do something to me. If I see something that would be a good prank, I'm absolutely going to try to pull it on him because that's what keeps it fun, keeps it light, and it's okay to laugh around here,
So you're not going to tell me your secrets on what's in the on-deck circle?
No, because I don't know yet. Something has to happen. I have to be inspired somehow.
Listen, last question. Just talk about the Greenbrier. They're laughing back in the studio at all this. The picturesque view, the weather, and everybody talks about that, but really it's all about productivity. I mean, it's less water breaks. You guys are getting a lot of work done in this climate too.
So the whole reason for going there is to get us in a climate where we can really maximize reps. And so with the amount of young talent that we have, and we got to bring these guys along quickly because we don't have 2-a-days anymore. It's just one practice today and a walkthrough. And so you got to maximize reps however possible. And so, listen, the facilities are great, everything's great, but at the end of the day, are you becoming a better football team, by being there? And that's what we got to ask ourselves, and that's why we got to continue to, go forward with a sense of urgency every day.
All right, we'll get well soon. We'll stay tuned on Peyton, and we'll see you next week in New Orleans.
Sounds good.
All right, Drew Brees with us for the 8th straight year here on CST. We'll hear from him after every preseason and regular season game. That's a story from St. Louis, guys. A win for the Saints.